Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back into the video today, and today we're going to be previewing the Houston Rockets' 25th regular season game, as the Rockets are 13-11, are matching up against the Atlanta Hawks tonight, back at home after just having a 2 or 3 game road trip in the last 2 games. It's been a 3-game road trip. It started with Memphis with a win on the road, and then 2 losses in a row now. The Rockets are now 13-11. They've lost 2 in a row to the Cleveland Cavaliers in overtime and the Milwaukee Bucks. Lost by 9 in Milwaukee, and those games were on both were back-to-back games. And now the Rockets are back home for a homestand, and hopefully the Rockets will be able to get back on the win column tonight, facing a couple former Houston Rockets that are on the Atlanta Hawks. You have Clint Capella, who will be in the starting lineup for the Hawks tonight. You have Garrison Matthews and Bruno Fernando, who were on the team last year that were traded at the trade deadline. But the Rockets also have a couple Hawks players on their roster as well. I mean, you have Aaron Holiday, who was on the Hawks last year, is now on the team. And I believe there are a couple other, 1 or 2 other players on our roster that at some time have played for the Atlanta Hawks. I think maybe Jeff Green. I don't think Jeff Green has. I'm trying to think about who else is on our roster that has played for Atlanta. I think it's only Aaron Holiday, but I feel like there is one other player on our roster that has played for Atlanta. But this should be a good matchup. You know, the Rockets trying to get back on the win column. The Hawks have been okay this season. The Rockets are, 10-1 when playing at home this season. They've won 10 straight home games. So the Rockets are a very good home team. And we'll see if they can get the business done tonight against the Hawks. So let's go over the injury report for the Hawks. They have a lot of players out. They have Kobe Buffkin, their first-round pick, is out in this one. Jalen Johnson's been out for a couple weeks. He will not be playing tonight. Also, their first-round pick from last year, A.J. Griffin, is out. And Bogdan Bogdanovic is questionable as a game-time decision. And for the Rockets, their injury report, obviously Victor Oladipo will not be playing in this one. He is still injured. But that illness that's been going on for a week is still bothering the Rockets, because both Jae'Sean Tate and Amen Thompson are both game-time decisions with the illness. This has been going on since last Monday, since Tari Eason had the flu game. Since then, you've seen Amen Thompson, Jae'Sean Tate, and I think it's Tayo Splitter who is our assistant coach, all get sick with illnesses since then. So it's been a bug ever since that has gone around in this Rockets locker room since Tari Eason's flu game. But maybe Jae'Sean Tate and Amen Thompson are able to go tonight. Jae'Sean Tate has played the last couple games. He missed 1 game due to an illness, which was against Memphis. Then he came back against Milwaukee and played in the Milwaukee-Cleveland games, and now he's a game-time decision again due to an illness. But Tari Eason's not on the injury report, and neither is anybody else. It's just Jae'Sean Tate, Amen Thompson, Victor Oladipo. All right, starting lineups, even though there are some guys like Bogdan Bogdanovic on the injury report for the Hawks, and you have Amen Thompson and Jae'Sean Tate on the injury report for the Rockets, these injuries do not affect the starting lineups. The same starting lineups that these teams have been having. For the Hawks, point guard Trae Young, shooting guard DeJounte Murray, small forward DeAndre Hunter, power forward Saddiq Bey, and center former Houston Rocket Clint Capella. Then for the Rockets, point guard Fred VanVleet, shooting guard Jalen Green, small forward Dylan Brooks, power forward Jabari Smith Jr., center Alperen Sengun. All right, let's get into my predictions for this game. And I didn't think I'd actually be saying this, but then last night I was thinking about how Jalen Green has had success against the Hawks in his career. I'm thinking Jalen's going to have a bounce back tonight. You know, Jalen has had 2 really bad games in a row now. He's been shooting the ball terrible in the last couple weeks, and being back at home somewhere he's comfortable, and I think something after struggling like he's been doing, and definitely could be the blame for last loss against Cleveland in overtime, shooting 2 for 12, missing shots in overtime as well. I think Ime Udoka is probably being really hard on him right now, and you've seen Ime Udoka throughout the season so far, get hard on him, like for instance with the Lakers game. I know this was a really good game for him, but this was actually Jalen's best game of the season. Jalen scored 28 against the Lakers in only 20 minutes of play. Before that game, Ime Udoka told Jalen Green that USA Basketball picked Austin Reeves over him, and then he goes off against the Lakers, scores 28 points in only 21 minutes, and had one of the best shooting nights of his season so far. And that was one of his best games of the season. That was one of the best games I've ever seen Jalen play, to be honest. I was at that game. That was one of the best times I've ever seen Jalen play. I mean, obviously it's not number one, but that was a really good performance from Jalen. I mean, if he would have played his normal minutes, he probably would have scored near 40 points in that game because he was on his game that night, but the Rockets crushed the Lakers by like 40. But in his career against the Hawks, he's had success. He's averaged near 30 points per game against the Hawks in his 3 or 4 games in his career against Atlanta, including a 41-point performance in his rookie season and a 30-point performance in last year's game against the Hawks. Both games where he dropped 41 against Atlanta in his rookie season, that was at home. Dropped 30 against Atlanta last year in a comeback win for the Rockets. That was at home. So he's had his way against Atlanta at home in his career. I kind of see that happening again tonight. And I've been very disappointed in Jalen Green as of late, but I just feel a good night for him. A good shooting night is what he needs. And I just kind of see him getting it going tonight against the Atlanta Hawks. But I think we'll just see what happens. I think it'll be a very interesting thing to see what happens with Jalen Green tonight. I mean, also look at a guy like Fred VanVleet, who's coming off a great night, the best night of his season, and maybe even one of the best nights of his career. 27 points, 17 assists, 8 rebounds. Had a great shooting night as well. Obviously, that's not one of the best nights of his career, but obviously I think he scored 50 in a game before with the Raptors, but look at all-around performance. It's a great performance to have 27 points, 17 assists, and 8 rebounds, and shoot like he did from 3 and mid-range. He had a great shooting night as well for the Rockets. I kind of see him getting it going tonight too. I think VanVleet and Jalen will both have big nights. I see both players going over 20 points. And I think the Rockets bench should get it going too with Jeff Green and Tari Eason. And I see the Rockets getting a win over the Atlanta Hawks. But I think this will be a close one that the Rockets will have to fight out in the fourth quarter to get the win. But, they fought last year against the Hawks to try to get the win at home. They were down by like 20-something points and came back. That was a great game. That was one of my favorite games to watch last year. That was probably the favorite out of all wins last year. Wasn't many. It was only 22. And so far this season, we already have 13 wins, and it's not even Christmas yet. We have more than half of the wins we had last season so far, and it's not even Christmas. But one of my favorite wins, if not my favorite win from last season, was the win against the Hawks because we showed strength in coming back, and Jalen Green had a great performance. And as a team last year, I know there's a lot of guys on that team who played in that performance who led the comeback. And one of the guys who actually did so good, Garrison Matthews, who scored 20 points in that game against Atlanta last year, is on the Hawks now. There's a lot of guys who contributed in that game who are not on this team anymore. Kevin Porter Jr., I hate to bring him up. Garrison Matthews, who's now on the Hawks. Bruno Fernando is now on the Hawks. A lot of other players not on the team anymore. But that was one of my favorite wins from last season. And maybe the Rockets can get another win against the Atlanta Hawks tonight and beat them for the second straight time in a row at Toyota Center. That's the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts on the game in the comment section, and peace out.